Welcome to Fandom Schmandom, the fandom podcast that covers everything you love and more. I'm Sam Williams.
And I'm Sierra Obermark. Today's episode, we will be gregariously gabbing about Stranger Things Season 4, Episodes 1 through 4.
And without further ado, we will, as Roger Smith says, dive on in. So get up to 88, because it's time to travel back to our story recap. Episode 1 of Season 4. Elle once killed all the staff and all the other telekinetic children, other than 8, and opened a gate in the children's playtime section of Hawkins' lab. Anyway, California! Things are super good for Elle, whose letters aren't filled with lies at all, and also super good for Will, who is quietly absorbed in his art, and super good for Jonathan, who's getting high all the time, and super good for Joyce, who definitely loves her job.
Definitely.
Back in Hawkins, the Hellfire Club and basketball tournament have a conflict, which actually means drama, since Lucas is on both, and Mike and Dustin must choose where their loyalties lie. Oh, and have we mentioned Max is super depressed? Joyce is sent a weird Russian doll. Elle hates school. Mike is out to Cali for spring break. And welcome, Eddie Munson, Hellfire Captain and, unfortunately, drug dealer. Eddie is helping a young woman named Chrissy get over her awful, terrifying, possibly real nightmares, and while he's trying to supply her with strong drugs in his trailer apartment thingy, Chrissy floats to the ceiling. Not metaphorically because of the drug, but literally. In her mind, she is being hunted by, is that Vecna's bells I'm hearing? And is killed in her mind, and in real life, gruesomely, so that's nice.
Episode 2. Robin has a crush on a girl in band. Steve can't find anyone that measures up to Nancy. Nancy won't go visit Jonathan in California, and Jonathan won't come out to see Nancy, and methinks they both protest too much. Murray joins Joyce to see a note left in the Russian doll that says Hopper is still alive. But is Hopper even still alive? Yes, he is. Local heartthrob and way too old to be in high school, Jason, the basketball man, has figured out that Chrissy is dead and thinks Eddie did it. He gets the whole basketball team, including Lucas, to hunt down the Hellfire leader. Speaking of Eddie, Dustin and Max are on the hunt and enlist Robin and Steve's help. 11 is lying to Mike about having friends in California, and Will tries to get her to stop, but 11's friends, that's in air quotes, do a good job of bullying her, which leads to 11 breaking noses and hearts. Joyce and Murray make contact with a Russian guard in Hopper's prison who is helping to orchestrate a breakout. Vecna kills Nancy's managing editor while they're out trying to investigate Chrissy's murder, and Eddie is found in a lake house.
Episode 3. The U.S. government is infighting about whether 11 should be kept alive or not. Some people think she's the cause of the weird deaths in Hawkins. Others, like Dr. Sam from Season 2, do not. Mike is upset that 11 hit a girl in the face with a skate, and Joyce and Murray make up a conference in Alaska that they need to go to, but really, they're rescuing Hoop. Lucas and the basketball hunters are on the prowl, but they haven't found Eddie yet. Eddie, Dustin, Max, Steve, and Robin are still at the lake house, brainstorming about finding Vecna to prove he killed Chrissy and not Eddie. Meanwhile, 11 and Mike are having trivial fights about how Mike won't say that he loves 11 anymore before cops show up to arrest 11 for the skate to the face. She's taken away to jail, but lo and behold, Dr. Sam has come to take her away to maybe get her powers back? Joyce and Mary, dear Mary, arrive in Alaska, which is freezing in springtime. And Hooper gets a fellow inmate to loosen his ankle shackle, breaking his foot in the process, and allowing him to slide his shackle off. Nancy joins with our Scooby-Doo gang after her managing editor is killed, and her and Robin go off to research Hawkins' history, only to find that some gruesome murders in the 50s were blamed by the murderer on a phantom. That sounds awfully like Vecna. Project Research Victor Creel has now begun. Correspondingly, the other half of our Scooby-Doobies have tracked down Chrissy's therapist file, and Max realizes that the symptoms Chrissy showed, the ones that the managing editor showed, are the same ones she's experienced the past several days. And now, Max has seen Vecna's clock, which means Max has 24 hours before Vecna will kill her.
Episode 4. Cops are watching Mike, Will, and Jonathan as 11 has been taken from them. Jonathan takes some initiative and gets his stoner buddy to pick them up just at the right time, since the U.S. military that wants Elle dead has come to kill them. They flee a gunfight, but not before one of the special forces guarding them is incapacitated and kept for torture. The Russian guard helping Hopper, Dmitri, is coordinating efforts between Hopper and Joyce and has enlisted the help of a pilot named Yuri, who double-crosses everyone for more money. Yuri drugs Murray and Joyce, and just when Hopper has removed his ankle shackle, beat up some guards, and snowmobiled away, he and Dmitri are captured and thrown in prison. Again. Lucas has abandoned the basketball band of man-child murderers to help protect Eddie, and tricked them for a wrong direction. He's with Steve, Dustin, and Max, who is furiously writing letters in the event that she dies. Nancy and Robin need to research Victor Creel more, so they pretend to be psych students and delve into Silence of the Lambs, where Victor Creel divulges his story of being haunted and his family killed by Vecna. The only thing that saved him was music playing that night, which he followed out of Vecna's mind attack. But the audience can't help but worry, mostly about Max, who seems minutes away from death. She has the boys drive her to her mom's to drop off letters. She won't tell Lucas anything or engage with him about her fate at all, and then asks to go to Billy, where she does something Hopper knows nothing about, a heart-to-heart with Billy's gravestone. Only Billy is alive and talking to her. Wait, no, that's Vecna. He's here to kill Max. Joyce and Robin just barely get the information that music might save Max, and Lucas knows just the song. Running Up That Hill is shoved into Max's ears as she faces Vecna, and she sprints for her life, away from Vecna, and to the portal in her head to live at least one more day.
Fantastico! But, before we get to the nitty-gritty schmitty, we welcome our wonderful expert and executive producer of the podcast, Aurelia, to provide us with the vital information that we need to know all about Eddie Munson this time. So welcome, Aurelia. Give us that integral info.
Simon's here. Do you copy? Right. Hello. So I have 3 books to cover today. One of them is a bit longer than the other 2, so I'll give it the most focus. But that is also the first one I'm going to talk about. So that book is Flight of the Icarus by Caitlin Schneiderhan. And it's set in 1984, so it's about 2 years before season 4, which is quite interesting and good to know. So it's sort of around when all of the Stranger Things shenanigans start to happen. This book is about Eddie Munson. It's his origin story, and it's detailing his intense struggle for self-discovery and belonging while trying to escape his past. It explains his move to Uncle Wayne's and the origin of his drug dealing as a direct result of his father's criminal scheme and the devastating loss of his mother's possessions. It is really sort of about the lure of the escape ticket, the whole book. The central theme is Eddie's fierce desire to break free from Hawkins, which he sees as the perpetual tomb of horrors. His lifeline is a record label contract, and the entire plot is driven by his attempts to raise money for Corroded Coffin, which is his band, and they are getting a demo tape. His one-way ticket to a rock and roll dream in Los Angeles. This need for money forces a confrontation with his estranged father, Al Munson, the schemer Eddie desperately fears becoming. Eddie helps him not just for cash, but for a subconscious shot at the one thing he's never had, his father's validation. The book is also about finding his own tribe. So in stark contrast to his father, the book highlights Uncle Wayne as Eddie's true, albeit imperfect father figure who offers unconditional support and acceptance. And the story also offers a deeper look at the formation of Hellfire Club and his band. These groups are where the little lost sheep find their tribe and are finally free to be themselves. This includes his best friend Ronnie, who is not only a fantastic character, but also an Arrow Ace icon, we'll love to see it, who accepts Eddie completely. The book reinforces how Hawkins already perceived Eddie as a freak long before the Upside Down, due to his passion for metal and D&D. And we also see a lot throughout the book how members of the Hellfire Club get bullied by the jocks of the school, and how Eddie feels responsible and steps in and is, the protector of those kids who don't feel like they belong otherwise. Ultimately, despite the tragic, non-supernatural dangers he faces, the narrative proves that Eddie was always a hero at heart. He shines as a natural, chaotic, good bard and protector, especially through his friends and burgeoning protective connection with Chrissy Cunningham, which we are introduced in these episodes, showcasing the heroism that would define his final and unforgettable moments in season 4. I think, in general, because we only get to see Eddie for this season, as far as we know at least, I would recommend reading this book because it gives you so much of what defines Eddie. The whole book, he struggles with people comparing him to his father when his father's basically absent for most of his life. And he's perceived as, he's a Munson, so he's just gonna be in trouble anyway. He's gonna cause trouble, when really Eddie's just a high school student trying to get by. So, yeah, and also it's quite nice to see how he's trying to make it in the music world. The next book I want to talk to you, and you will pick up on the theme, these are all books that are sort of set between season 3 and season 4, trying to just give you a little bit more insight. This one's called Lucas on the Line by Suyi Davies. And it's obviously about Lucas, a character we've known since season 1, but because of the time skip between seasons 3 and 4, this book focuses on what's happening and, explains a little bit more why when we come into season 4, the party seems disrupted and, the friends are not where we last seen them. They're not the close, tight-knit group of friends anymore. There has been, obviously a separation, so to speak. So the book focuses on Lucas' struggle to balance his multiple selves. There's the nerdy party member, as well as the basketball star. Although throughout this book, he's not a star yet. He just starts to get himself immersed with basketball and he learns how to play basketball. But it's also about striving to embrace his blackness and confronting the realization that he is an outsider in a ways his white friends are not. So it's a lot about, we're all outsiders, we're all being bullied, but hey, I'm also one of the only black people around here. It's a lot about his decision to join the basketball team to escape that bullying and invisibility, and that causes the significant strain on his relationships with Mike and Dustin, which we then see as the season opens. And also he's the difficulty to balance the old loyalties with his friends as well as his new social life with the basketball team. It also shows you a little bit of the aftermath of the Star Court. So this is obviously, as I said, between season 3 and 4, and it explains Lucas' distance and emotional exhaustion at the start of season 4. It shows him struggling to be a supportive boyfriend to Max while dealing with her depression and deterioration of their relationship. And we also get some family insight. So the book provides a closer look at the Sinclair family dynamic, specifically Lucas' relationship with his sister Erica and his parents. And also the uncle here makes a big impact on Lucas because he's the one actually encouraging him to connect more with his black roots and what it means to be a black person in America, which his father and mother sort of almost discourage him a little bit, not to not know the story, but make an effort to fit in and not stand out because of their fear that it'll only cause more trouble for them and for him. So it's a very relevant book. at the time that we're living now as much, obviously, as the time it is set for. And it really is sort of nice to see that, Luca's perspective, because as season 4 opens, you sort of see the rift in the friend group, but here you get some more details as to why Lucas chose to connect with like different members of the high school society. And then the last book I want to talk to you about is called The Dustin Experiment by J.L. D'Amato. And this, just like the Lucas book, focuses on another member of the party that we've known since season 1. And it sort of follows the same sort of trajectory than like the Lucas book did. So it's about why we are at with the status of the friend group by season 4. So it explores like the bittersweet reality of adolescent friendship, where like Mike, Lucas, and Will's new priorities caused the party to drift apart. Dustin attempts to force a reconnection through a science competition, and that's sort of highlighting his struggle to hold on to the past. The competition becomes a coming-of-age moment where Dustin's intellect and scientific talent take center stage, allowing him to shine on his own terms and gain new understanding of his place in Hawkins. So again, it's just really good to sort of see Dustin's perspective, and also see how he changes in that, time that isn't shown on the screen. Crucially, the story establishes the canon beginnings of Dustin's close, big brother-like bond with Eddie Munson, which, I think if you're watching season 4, you can sort of see that they're clearly quite close, but here you actually get to see how that started, because there's a road trip, and a charismatic senior becomes like an unlikely mentor aiding Dustin's project and solving a mystery. And yeah, again, both of those books are like really helpful to understand more about, those characters that we probably know the best throughout like going into season 4 with like the addition of other characters, because we've been watching them for like 3 seasons at that point. But it's really nice to sort of see what's happened after the buyers moved away and what has caused, this drift in the Hawkins-centered friend group. So yeah, that is my summary of the 3 books. As always, I would recommend you read them yourselves. But if you don't have time, I hopefully did them justice with this summary. And with that, for the last time this season, I'm going to have to say, over and out.
Okay, so Flight of Icarus first. Your initial reactions, Miss Obermark.
I think it's really interesting that we have another kind of absentee father but substitute father situation. I feel like this is a fairly common theme throughout Stranger Things.
Dustin,
and also,
11, Eddie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mike, even to some extent.
Yeah. Oh, will I have things to say about that man later later also, talking about season 4.
Also, Will. Don't know how I forgot Will and Jonathan.
Yeah, Will and Jonathan. I guess we don't really know anything about Steve's family and Robin's family and stuff, but we don't meet them either. So there's an absence of fathers in this situation, but I do like that there's more of a context for his relationship with his uncle. Yeah. Because we can see in the season that they are very close and Wayne really truly cares for his nephew, despite the issues that both of them may have. So I think it's nice to be able to have that and to also have Eddie constantly trying to escape or run away, which, definitely ties into his whole journey of self-exploration and eventual realization and final moments and all of that.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting because we know, for those of you who are like, no, don't tell me spoilers. This is a spoiler for the very end of the season. We know that he ends sacrificing himself to save the town that he hates, which is a brutal situation because at least Bob in season 2 was like, I love Hawkins, even though he was ready to leave. Yeah. Like, he loved his town. Mm-hmm. There's just it just really sucks to have Eddie constantly wanting to leave, and his bravery saving his friends, which is all good, but then he ends up dying for the town that he's wanted to leave the entire time, that hasn't really picked him up or helped him out or care for him and think that he's a murderer.
Right.
That really sucks. It's awesome to also have more music context. I didn't really realize that he was like that much searching for a Los Angeles, I want to go to Capitol Records and I want to get discovered and I want to do this thing. Like, they don't even really build up the music that much.
No, not really.
In season 4, I know we get him saying, like, I play the guitar, still do, and I was in this band that Chrissy saw, way back when, and how could you forget that name? And then they actually run into the band, and the Jason and the basketball men run into the band and beat them up. Right. And then, of course, you realize how good he is at music because he just straight slays in, like, my all-time favorite Stranger Things moment. But it's really cool to see that there's so much more behind that than just he's using the talent that he wants to leave Hawkins in order to save Hawkins.
Ugh.
Really neat. Lucas on the Line. Lucas on the Line seems like an incredibly important book for Lucas's character. It's like the one thing that they tepidly get into on the show. We get a couple of moments of the tensions around race with Lucas versus the rest of the party. I'm thinking specifically about the Ghostbusters moment where Mike and him are both the same character. He's like, well, no, you've got to be. And I was like, why? Cause he's black. And like, that's a moment that I think really works. And of course, they also address a little bit of race with the way in which there's like, Max isn't racist and her brother is racist, and Max falls for Lucas, but Billy is sort of an example of what a lot of that town might feel. So it seems like a really awesome book. I really want to read this one after hearing. I mean, I want to read the Eddie one too, but I think that's really interesting, and I really want the context of Max and Lucas's relationship.
What I am most interested in with this book is Lucas and Erica together. Yeah, because obviously we get Erica and we get Lucas, but season 4 is the first time that we really get Erica and Lucas in the same really place at the same time. Yeah, and only really at the very, very end. So I would love to know a little bit more about them. And also his parents, because we have little bits and pieces, but the most that we see his parents is when all of them are in trouble. Yeah. And the police are questioning all of the parents, and then the parents are all coming together to talk about their children. And that's the most that we see the rest of the Sinclair family. So I think that's the section that I'd be most interested in, because I feel like a lot of they do a pretty good job of touching on the important aspects of friendship strain and him wanting to be popular and why and how that affects his relationship with his existing friends. So I think that that's maybe touched on enough. So I think that more context is important and would have some really interesting moments, because I think that some of Lucas's best moments are specifically about that topic in this season. So that could maybe even just lead to more personal growth from him. Yeah,
agreed. Very much agreed. And then on to... listen, Max has been my favorite character for forever for this show, but on this rewatch, Dustin may have a chance to steal the crown. So on to maybe my favorite, if not tied for my favorite Stranger Things character in Dustin. What did you think of the Dustin experiment?
I think it seems like I struggle to say cute, but I want to say it just because, it's like a cute mini story of potentially not larger consequences, but very much it's very much kind of a microcosm of the relationship between all of the boys, but also just a nice moment of really seeing Dustin, because I was hit on this last rewatch, the very end of episode, the final episode of this season, Dustin is alone. And that bothered me a lot. on this rewatch, where we're getting these little moments of all the other characters going out to see what's going on. And
you even get those duos, right?
Exactly.
11 standing, and then it's Mike and Will and Joyce and Hopper, and then Yuri and Murray. Or Dimitri and Murray.
No, it's Nancy and...
Oh, you're right. It's Nancy and Jonathan. Yeah.
But then you also have Steve and Robin are together.
Right.
And the Sinclairs are with Max in the hospital, so we don't really get a close-up of them. But then it's just Dustin alone.
To talk to Uncle Wayne, yeah.
Yeah, but
he's
even
by himself.
after that, when they're all walking outside.
Oh, right, of course.
And it really hit me on this one, and I did not like it. I didn't care for that moment because I just was like, my boy.
It's been really interesting with Dustin, too, because through this rewatch, the first season, they're all so together.
Yeah.
And even then, Dustin's like, I know I'm on the outs. I know Lucas is your best friend, and you're his best friend. And the Mike has to be like, no, you're my best friend, too. And it's like one of Mike's better moments of the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And then in season 2, he gets separated out, and he's with Steve. And then with season 3, he's separated out when he comes back with his, Cerebro that he's created. And it's just like, he stays with the science. He stays with the sort of AV club stuff. But not everybody else does. Mike is just kind of willowing out there in quote unquote leadership and love territory. Will is like the Shadow Monster's proxy and also an artist. Eleven's doing her own thing. Lucas is sort of finding his own way, and he has a whole different dynamic with Max. It's really interesting to see. I didn't really realize how much Dustin is kind of alone and then alone and then alone. Even with that dynamic with Steve, like, he's really separated out from the party more than anybody else.
Yeah, definitely. And it did also, obviously we had to make way for Dustin's relationship with Eddie in this season. And Dustin really needed somebody at school with him to be that bond that he can share. But it did bother me that he isn't with Steve. And Steve and he were just so close for 2 full seasons.
I know.
And had that brother relationship, and then suddenly it's just gone.
Well, they really needed to set up love triangle for season 5.
I know.
Which bothers me. But I am still bothered by how much Steve is like, wait, I kind of want to be with, let me be with Nancy.
Yeah.
And like, he is with Dustin a lot at the beginning of this season. Like, in these first 4 episodes, they are together. Yeah. And Steve is doing his babysitter stuff, but then it's really separated out in the next 2 of our podcast episodes.
Yeah. But it feels like Dustin just keeps losing everyone. And I do wonder if that's going to play a larger role than we've thought of up until this point. We haven't really talked about kind of Dustin's role in season 5 all that much. And I do wonder if his loneliness and his having lost that closeness with Steve because Steve's on his other mission, having lost his friends, having lost Eddie, if that's really going to impact him almost in a Max-like way of Max losing Billy. So I'm now very, very curious where Dustin's character is going.
Me too. To be continued. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, thank you very, very much, Aurelia,
thanks
for
so
all
much.
of that wonderful information.
Great
and
amount of
backstory.
research. A lot of time spent reading.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you. Find your donut holes.
Found them.
It's time for our Knives Out category, where we sleuth out which 3 storylines are the most vital to pay attention to these first 4 episodes.
Here we go. I gotta tell you something, Sierra. There is no donut hole in the desert. It's just a mouthful of sand. Dear listeners, schmishners, you will hear nothing about 11 or Jonathan or Will or Mike or their friend, whose name escapes me in my head. Argyle. You will find nothing about those in this section over the next 3 episodes. And you will hear more from us on why. But moving forward, we have 3 of those that have nothing to do with California or the desert. Number 1, Hopper. He's alive. And of course, Joyce and Murray are there. Number 2, Chrissy is dead. Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this. Sorry, had to. Couldn't resist. Chrissy's dead, and it was Vecna. Also, Max and Dustin, and Steve and Robin, and Eddie. All of those people's storylines. And then, of course, there's the part 2 of Chrissy is dead, and it was Victor Creel, the Nancy and Robin storyline.
Yes, so our first storyline of Hopper and Joyce and Murray. Hopper jumped for it when the explosion occurred, you guys. That's why we didn't see an official body, death, etc., because he was very athletic for a moment and just went for it. Joyce gets a ransom-style note in a Russian doll in a box from Russia saying that Hop is alive. And rightfully, honestly, calls Murray about it. Murray thinks that this means it's either a lie, or if Hopper is alive, he's been captured and tortured into finding Joyce as well. Joyce just thinks that he escaped and is trying to contact her via a friend. Murray is more right than Joyce. Neither of them are completely right, but Murray is more right because Hopper is getting tortured to find out about Joyce.
Yeah.
They call the number on the letter and they speak to Enzo, not a friend, not KGB, who tells them to go to Nome, Alaska. Shout out Nome.
Shout out Nome!
Enzo lets Hopper know that the money for the plane is on the way and to get going on his breakout plan, which is to get his shackles broken enough to get them off, basically breaking his leg in the process. Joyce and Murray get the money to Yuri, not to be confusing at all, a mildly insane fella who takes way too long to do everything. Hopper makes his escape from the camp. Turns out Yuri is the worst. He's drugged Joyce and Murray and sold out Enzo and Hopper to the KGB.
Amazing. Tell us all about this, Sierra. Why is this such an important storyline?
Well, it's an important storyline for a number of reasons. The first reason being Hopper's alive and we love him.
And that's it. That's the only reason. Hopper's back.
That's the reason. Woohoo! The second huge thing is that this sets up the Russians' continuing role in the Upside Down and the creatures that lie therein. They're housing Demogorgons, people, because they're a bright bunch, and they want to keep their power going. When you see a weapon, you train the weapon. Sure. A bear, a Demogorgon, it's the same, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
For sure.
Trainable.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. Training Demogorgons definitely not going to come back to bite you in the face, arm, leg, toe, belly button, swallow you whole, NBD.
What's the line that you've been saying all night? Nothing can stop you.
Nobody can stop me.
That's what the Demogorgon says.
I thought that was the theme song of the KGB.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Good. Keep going.
So those are, I think really the main reasons why this is important. Really bringing back what the heck else the Russians have been up to. Also, why Hopper is there, because it's not just a camp for building whatever they're building, working on a railroad? ? Something.
Yeah. Okay, so that's like an allusion to like Russian work camps, right? I don't know that it makes a ton of sense that they're like working on a railroad and also house Demogorgon. It's kind of like, what is this place? Like, what's happening? Like, the prison just happens to be next to this railroad, or is the railroad there to ship stuff into the prison? It's also like 1984. Are we still building railroads like this? Like, sort of question marks there. It's not 1984, it's 1986. But it's clearly a wonderful sort of nostalgia to the Cold War still going on. And it makes a lot of sense that Russia's continuing to do similar research to the United States. It very much reflects kind of real life there. I will say, I'm thoroughly annoyed by the way in which they explain Hopper surviving.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as bad as Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock, where they, never actually answer how he survives clearly dying.
No. Don't they give, 3 different...
They give 3 different explanations.
Potentials or something like that, but then
they
don't
never say what
it.
actually happens. That's much more frustrating. But I just am kind of like, oh, okay, so we haven't seen this level. We haven't seen that the thing goes down. The little wire mesh cage platform that they've got, it goes down at all. And the explosion doesn't really affect that area at all. It seemed like in the end of season 3 that the whole room overloads. And so a lot of people, in between those seasons were like, he jumps into the upside down. He's stuck there now. Or a lot of people were like, actually the Russians came and got him out of the room completely before it. They had a trap door or something of that nature. All of which I didn't like any of those things. I guess it's really just, it's hard to have saved him from that room in a satisfying way, but I still don't love it. But I'm glad that he's here. He's a great character. And it was kind of clear in all of the press that the Duffer Brothers did. They were like, what happens to Han Solo at the end? Oh my gosh, okay, he comes back in return. It's fine. We get it. He's gonna return. I have one question. Is Yuri too similar to Murray for you?
Character-wise or name-wise?
Both.
Name-wise, it does bother me. There's so many other names. Why Yuri Murray? I don't know.
I think they're going for an overt, hey, this is the Russian Murray. I think that's it's not even a wink or not. They're just like, look, it's Murray, but he's Russian.
Yeah. It's Murray, but he's Russian and
Russian
kind
nesting
of...
bearded men.
And also it's like his evil twin.
Yeah. I am Retep and my name is Evil. It's a Family Guy reference.
I think that it doesn't bother me, his personality.
Okay.
Mainly because I think that they tap into the whole he's the evil part pretty quickly. I think that if they just left it as yet another eccentric person, the only way that I could have accepted it is if Murray started getting really annoyed with Yuri then Joyce is just hello. Are you not seeing this? So I think that's the only way that they could have made it work. But I mean, he has to be similar enough for the whole ploy to happen towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Where
Murray is Yuri and all of that. But it doesn't really bother me. The names bother me, but the actual personality doesn't so much.
Until we get to the switch, I remember in my first watch being a little bit like, what's happening here? It feels like a meta moment in the story where it's self-referential in a way that it feels overt, and I was like, I don't love this. And then when they do the switch, I'm like, oh, I can be patient. It's fine. I actually I end up really liking it at the end. But that was my one question there. Okay, storyline number 2. Chrissy is dead, and it was Vecna, the Max, Dustin, Steve, Robin, Eddie edition. Okay, so Eddie Munson is selling drugs to Chrissy because Chrissy is having horrible, awful, terrible nightmares that are real, and Vecna is coming to kill her. Chrissy goes to the local drug dealer to try and get help with calming herself down because therapy and antidepressants and all that sort of stuff aren't working for her. Chrissy and Eddie end up having really incredible chemistry. Mind-boggling, off the scene, great, wow, their relationship works so well. That scene in the woods is incredible, where they talk about the band and everything. Then Chrissy comes over to get Special K, which I'm guessing is ketamine, even before it was ketamine. I would
assume something.
And while she's there, Vecna has his final mind attack on her, and in front of Eddie, she does the whole bone break, bone break, bone break, eyes go in, I'm dead. And completely freaks out Eddie. Transition to Max. Max sees this because she lives across the trailer park from Eddie. So she sees Chrissy and Eddie go into the trailer, but only Eddie comes out screaming and looking scared, and the lights flicker, and then Eddie gets into the van and takes off. The fact that Max isn't immediately like, the lights flickered, PTSD, quickly, the upside down is kind of funny to me, but so be it. Max sees the cops in the morning and goes to Dustin with the information since she can't reach Lucas, and Mike and company are in California. Dustin and Max take over the family video, where Steve and Robin are brought into this story. After calling around to all of Eddie's friends, the video crew finds a guy named Reefer Rick, I wonder what he does, who may know where Eddie is. After arriving at the boathouse and finding a terrified Eddie, they all share what they know, reassuring Eddie they believe him, and figure out that the person doing this must be Vecna, a dark sorcerer with incredible powers. But how is he choosing his victims? Max figures out Chrissy and Fred were both seeing the school counselor and finds their files, only to realize she's having the same symptoms as the deceased. Max is having many hallucinations and writes goodbye letters to everyone she cares about because she knows, and her whole crew knows, Vecna is coming to kill her in less than 24 hours. So what's important about this, y'all? This is kind of the main story of season 4. The discovery of Vecna, right? So Max and 11 they're all benched for this season to set up, we can't have superpowered girl here because she always saves the day. We have to have Mike with 11 because he has no relevance to the story otherwise, even though I actually think it would be a really cool idea to have him grow on his own away from 11 with this crew, but whatever. I'm not the writers. And we can't have Will there because he senses Vecna. He knows what's going on. He's sort of a spy still on the inside. So they're all benched. Right. And when you bench Will, you got to bench Jonathan. And when you bench Jonathan, his new friends are also benched. So here's the main story where we've got this discovery of Victor Creel, which also has Nancy, and we'll get to her side of it in a second. But we have the deaths going on. We've got Eddie's death, where he witnesses Chrissy. We've got all of Dustin and Max's trying to find Eddie, all of that sort of stuff, all leading up to Max realizing that she's the next victim, which is a huge plot, like the plot. Why is Vecna choosing these specific victims, and what are they for? So that gets us, Max's part really is what gets us to what is this for? Oh, 4 sacrificial deaths to open up one really large gate from the upside down into Hawkins. So that's what we're going for, and that's what this is all about. Sierra, do you have any other thoughts about this?
I mean, I think you summed it up pretty good with just, this is the main plot. Yeah. So, we have all of this very important information, and Max realizing that she's next is a huge, and is a huge bringing together of all the information that we have so far. So I think that is really the key, is just, we have all these little bits and pieces here and there. We figure out it must be a sorcerer. How is he doing it? He must be doing it this way. How is he choosing everybody? And then once it all comes together and they realize that Max is next on the list, we can launch into the remainder of the season. So I think that it's very interesting because we're also only getting kind of half the story when we're saying, okay, Vecna's fault that Chrissy is dead and that Fred is dead. And and in just a second, we'll get into the other half of that story, the Victor Creel side, which I really do like, that it's almost like the exact same story is being told in 3 parts. Yeah. And you're getting little bits and pieces. You're slowly putting the puzzle together, kind of in almost like a spiral circle, all the way to the middle, where it all comes together, and we have that really great scene of Henry won Vecna, what are we calling him? And everybody says something different.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
So I enjoy this a lot.
I will also say, this is, I think, my favorite part of season 4 is the Max storyline. This is where a lot of the heart of the story is. The audience is really invested in keeping Max alive. We have not had a character be so threatened with death in the way that Max is, where it's like everybody else has died. How are we supposed to protect her from this? All of that sort of stuff. And these moments of Max writing letters, listening to the song, escaping Vecna are incredibly, hugely emotional. I mean, they do this mid-series finale at the end of season 4 with this incredible run sequence with her escaping from the Upside Down back to the outside. So I think that's also important from a storytelling standpoint. This is like, it's such a heavy lifter of the emotional force propelling us forward in the story. Like, it's hard to put down what's going on. It's hard to stop watching because Max is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly,
exactly,
we've got Chrissy is dead, and it was Victor Creel, the Nancy and Robin edition.
Yes, so Nancy is on team investigation. Once she finds out about Chrissy and what's going on at the trailer park, she heads out to go investigate, and she brings Fred along
her
with
managing
her. Fred
editor.
Is her managing editor, yes. Fred, who we've never met before or seen before, same as Chrissy before all this happens, starts to have these visions and these hallucinations referencing a facial scar that he got in a crash where someone died last year. Please tell me more about that, first of all.
He's very Nigel-coded from Harry Potter, where he just pops up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so sorry. Please continue.
But is that Vecna's clock again?
That's a terrible clock noise, but you all get it.
Yeah. We know what we're talking about. You do too. Fred wanders into the woods after the clock sound and sees the clock on a coffin and people standing about declaring him a murderer. Meanwhile, Eddie's uncle starts to talk to Nancy and says that he thinks that the killer is Victor Creel, who is someone who, back in the 50s, killed his family, cut out their eyes. Chrissy had her eyes missing. This Victor Creel is in Penhurst Asylum, but maybe he got out, ?
Yeah.
So Nancy and Robin head to the library to look at old newspapers and to find out more about Victor, what happened. And they find out that Victor claimed a demon had killed his family. So then when the whole gang meets back up to discuss Max's potential fate, Steve makes some great points. How is Vecna getting through? How did he get through before when there was no gate? Why kill one family, vanish for 30 years, and then start killing random teens? So he raises a lot of points, and in order to get some answers, we have to talk to Victor Creel. So Robin and Nancy managed to score a meeting with the Penhurst director, and Robin, in a brilliant moment, manages to talk their way into meeting Victor himself. He tells his story, how his home, the town, and his family was cursed by a demon, and the horrifying nightmare that they lived and died in. Victor Creel says that he followed an angel, a song, and he was able to escape from the nightmare that he had found himself in, where he was reliving his worst memory. So then Nancy and Robin get this vital piece of information about how to escape from Vecna and the situation that a victim of his would find themselves in, and is able to relay it to Dustin, thankfully, at just the perfect moment in order to save Max so that they can get her a song to follow through her mind back to reality.
Right, because when they're interviewing Victor Creel is when Max is at the grave site of Billy and Vecna does his final attack. So she's floating in the air. Steve's freaking out. Dustin's freaking out. Lucas is freaking out. Calling her on the calling Nancy on the radio, and they finally get that information. They're able to put Kate Bush on, and Max runs for safety and lands back in Hawking. So tell me, Sierra, why is this important? Why did we note this as our third biggest one?
Because it's really the other half of the main story.
Yeah.
Because this continues Max's plotline, why she is important to this season, to Vecna's plot, etc. And also explains, without fully explaining, because we don't 100% know why yet, but it explains more of some of Vecna's early victims and how the Creel family is tied in to the plot at large. We don't have all of the pieces yet, but we have very important information about how to keep somebody safe from Vecna, potentially. Not indefinitely, but for at least a period of time. We have more information about what can happen when someone succumbs to Vecna, what those people experienced before they died, what Chrissy and Fred may have went through beforehand. They're reliving their worst memories. They're reliving the worst things of their life. You know, Chrissy is being bullied by her mom about her weight and what she looks like and all of that. Fred has his whole "you're a murderer" thing because of a car accident. And then we have Max with Billy. And so we're really getting all of these moments that mirror Victor Creel's moment when he was fighting in the war and made a bad call and had to live with the consequences. So, which is absolutely traumatizing and horrifying.
Totally.
One of the saddest bits that's just slid into this whole season. But we get to also understand, okay, well, even if you live through Vecna's attack, what does that look like for you? Your life is kind of never going to be the same. So
absolutely.
We're already, you know, Max is in immediate danger, but then also is still going to continue to be in danger even after she, quote, escapes.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important for kind of all of those reasons and really building the puzzle that is Vecna and his plot and who he is and why.
And it's amazing that Steve brings in such huge hammering questions. I mean, it's almost a bit of, he's almost a bit reflective of the audience where he's, and they have these, okay, like every season in Stranger Things. I'm not criticizing the writing here. They occasionally you need to just overtly ask some things so that the audience can keep up with what's going on. But he asks, like, why did he do this why has he disappeared for 30 years? Why, how did he get through the last time? And, and it's so interesting knowing what we know is like, oh, well, he's one. And so it was him, this, and then he got taken over by Brenner. And then he's, kind of put on a blocker for his powers and he can't do anything. And so we know all that information as the audience now who's already watched this show. But of course, it's majorly confusing to be like, who is Vecna? And, you're getting all this sort of side story with 1 and 11 later on in this season. But you don't make that connection yet until the very end. And even you don't really need 11's story for that. You get it with Nancy later as well. Right. So really good job by Steve there as putting some stuff in. But also, you get to see this nice Silence of the Lamb moment where she's down talking to Victor Creel, Nancy and Robin. And you also get this absolute, horrific look at why Hawkins may feel cursed.
Yeah.
Keep your finger on the pause button and rewind that tape. It's the Prestige category for What Did We Notice on This Rewatch? Episode 1.
Starting out the mystery of what happened in the lab is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And so is revealing Brenner and then being like, oh, but it's a flashback. It's okay.
Yeah.
That He's whole not scene, actually here.
The way that they set it up, too, with, we get an actual little L again, which is so much fun to see. And the fact that you were like, oh, this is how all the kids are no longer around except for 8. And, oh my gosh, 11 did this. And she opened up a gate previous to the beginning of Stranger Things. That's a crazy good way of starting that.
Yeah. It did make a lot of questions, though, about where is 8 and how is she not there? And question. Season 5, answer our questions.
Please answer.
Yes. A tiny little bit. Elle and Joyce matching is so adorable. I just love it. I really love that she's stepping into the role as her mom, and it's just so cute.
Yeah. I made fun of this at the beginning with my season recap or my episode recap, but Jason, he's 32 years old. I know he's not. The actor's I think 27 or something like that, but he just doesn't read at all.
No.
like a 17, 18-year-old kid.
Mm-mm.
And I really like him in this part. It's just, and
he's very sinister.
We will have a lot more to say about like the visuals of age in this season over the next couple of episodes. But like, immediately I'm like, who is this 32-year-old and why is he on this? What's that movie? It's this rom-com where the main girl character's brother goes and joins school as a baseball player so that he can get drafted again.
No idea.
All right, audience members, if you...
it's not like Never Been Kissed or something, is it?
Maybe.
Like,
is that the one where she like goes undercover at a high school?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I'm thinking of. It's something about pitch. Fever Pitch or something like that. I don't know. You said baseball. That's why I was thinking about it, but I don't think I'm right at all.
I think that this guy is this guy an undercover FBI agent who's there at the high school to be like, oh yeah, hi fellow kids. Anyways, it's just stupid.
I'm pretty sure he was 28 when they filmed this.
He's not 18.
Yeah. No, he also just has this like creepy quality about him. Yeah. And I think it's not the actor, it is the acting.
Yeah.
And it's great. But that definitely contributes to the like, you don't fit.
Well, and like, I know that they really have to age up the seniors because like 11 is supposed to be a freshman and she's 20 years old and she's not really, but they're all quite old for freshmen and they need to age them somehow. It was like when they did Smallville and they were like, Tom Felton's 14. So that means Tom Wellington is 14. Tom Felton was actually 14 at the time.
Yeah. I am a big fan though of how Will has stepped into this brother role for Elle, despite everything else going on in his life too. Yeah. I just think it's really sweet. And also kind of in that vein of just sweet things, I realized that ending with a letter in the last season from Hopper, then starting with a letter is a nice full circle moment and a kind of father to daughter transition. So I do like that a lot. A potentially question mark thing. So Elle's having a lot of trouble in school. She changed schools. They would have tested her in. Yeah. And tested her in at a lower grade. For sure. She would have been held back.
It is possible, and I don't know what it was like in the 80s, but it is possible to have that low skills and test into a public school in high school, but you just go into a lot of remedials and you get an individual education plan, an IEP, to help with your learning differences so that you are getting a ton of stuff. But it doesn't seem like
she has that.
Correct, but it was also the 80s, so they might have just been shilling a kid in there and being like, whatever.
Yeah. You're the right age. Sure. Here
Correct.
You go.
I mean, it's crazy that we do that already in education. We're like, you're the age, not the right smarts or maturity or anything like that. It's just age. Great. Here you go.
Yeah. Oh, well. I also forget how quickly Vecna enters the story this season. It is so fast. It's like right away.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. I always feel like the Chrissy scene is at least episode 3, if not 4.
I know.
And it's 1.
She just makes such an impact in this episode.
She does.
She's almost a pound for pound MVP candidate. But not quite, because she does actually nothing.
Yeah.
But her acting's great. There's this great moment where it's the final moment of the game. There's an injury on the basketball team. Lucas gets put in. And Jason says this line to the coach where he's like, no, pass the ball to me. Winners find a way to win. And he doesn't. Lucas figures out a way to win. And I just love the inference that Lucas is a winner who will find a way to win. Also Erica at the same time, because she's the one that wins the D&D campaign. So go Sinclairs.
Woohoo! Episode 2. I simply do not like everything about the reunion.
I don't
like anything about the reunion at the airport. Mike's outfit sucks. His attitude sucks. Argyle's awkward. Will is so sad. And once again, Mike sucks again for not wanting to see his painting.
Get him.
Elle's lying through her teeth. And Jonathan is just giving me nothing.
Get him. Sound off. Let's go.
Continuing my frustration with episode 2. Pops generally I'm on your side.
Yep.
You had Hopper for quite some time.
Yeah.
And you seemed decently-ish competent under him. You suck. You told the person who cares most about who the killer would be, who you think the killer is, and you just are shocked when this turns into a manhunt and that teenagers are gonna go off and try to find another teenager because they killed his girlfriend. Like,
Get him!
What?
Get him!
What? And then this goes to the Fred situation. I don't understand why we don't know more about this car accident where someone died.
Yeah.
I couldn't at the time when I was writing my notes on this, I couldn't remember if this was answered. It's not. I finished the season. It's not answered at all. And there's someone else who has died amongst all these other deaths in Hawkins in this fiery car accident, and we don't know who they were, what the situation was, how it was it built into the lore of Hawkins being cursed? We don't know anything about it. It's just like, oh yeah, someone else died.
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
That's crazy.
And then going back to Jonathan, while he was giving me nothing, now he's giving me too much because he has some crazy self-confidence here. Thinking that Nancy's just going to throw her life out the window to go to community college with him in California. Have you met Nancy? He's just,
Clearly
he doesn't
not.
want to tell her that he's not going to go to college because he thinks she's going to throw her life away for him. And I'm like, I know that you're like pretty cool, but no.
Yeah, for real. My God. All right, I'm just going to very quickly say my piece about the California stuff.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I love the fact that Mike's outfit sucks because I think it's well deserved. It's indicative of his taste. I also think that it's a very like classic 1980s California vibe, which I just think that sense of style right there is pretty bad and it doesn't work on him. I still think he looks iconic, even though I think he also looks terrible. My actual, in all seriousness, my biggest problem with this entire thing is the use of Argyle's character, which we have like very little indigenous or Latino representation in the show, and they choose for him to be a big California stoner the entire time who can only calm down and is only there for comedic relief. And I think it's like borderline in irresponsible use of his character, and then to not bring him back in season 5 to help fix some of those stuff, I'm like, dude, what the heck are you guys thinking? You take one of your only brown characters outside of Lucas and you make him just this stoner pot man thing who is like a bad influence on a Mormon girl later on.
Yeah.
There are moments where he's funny and good, but that's your only version. Like that's the only guy who is of that ilk.
He has 2 moments of legitimate planning, intelligence, knowledge.
Yes.
One is recognizing tire tread as military vehicles.
Correct.
Wild.
Amazing.
Pull. And the second one is being able to commandeer a pizza boy freezer, an entire pizza place, so that they can use the freezer for the mine fight later on.
He's like a FBI agent of pizza places. I need to commandeer your shop. Anyways, I that's an actual serious thing. In terms of the rest of it, I just like Jonathan's storyline stinks. Like he's just like a stoner.
He has a storyline?
He's not. No, he doesn't. He's like freaking out about Nancy for a second. Like they set up a bunch of cool stuff in episode 1. They set up Jonathan having major problems with dealing with all of this stuff. They set up Mike and Elle not getting along. Elle's trouble socializing and getting used to California and being bullied and having a difficult time with her powers. The only thing that gets really continued is her having a difficult time with her powers. Will and his connection with Mike and how that's been interrupted and why aren't they really together? And also his like love and professed interest in being kind of Mike's soulmate in a way. completely not really followed through, lightly drizzled in there. Jonathan ends up having really no storyline. Oh, Nancy, and we're not going to get together, and I'm just afraid, and I want to be with my family. And then he ends up in Hawkins, and the only thing is that they're like, are we okay? Yeah, we're okay. Yeah. All right, great. Now we've got a love triangle.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And then we've got Argyle, who's apparently not in season 5. Not apparently. He said, the actor has said himself, he's not in it. So then we have him for what? No reason at all. Just those 2 things that you mentioned. And then, like, Elle's entire story is just this frustrating sort of, we have to hem and haw into getting her powers back because we deleted them at the end of last season. And those storylines are just such a bag of nothing that I like when I think about this season. And I love this season. I like delete those out of my memory. But other people that I talk to are like, they don't like this season because that's the only thing that they can remember is that Elle does nothing. And she doesn't do nothing. We'll get into the nitty gritty of it later. And Mike does nothing. And he really doesn't do anything. They just go on a road trip through desert to find Nino. Like, it's really frustrating. Anyways, conversely, Eddie is super good. The actor for him is incredible. There's that
amazing,
absolutely gorgeous scene of them explaining everything to Eddie in the boathouse, where they set up, how they think Hawkins is cursed, like they're not entirely far off, and it's just like welcoming this other guy into their story. And that's all interwoven with Fred being killed at the same time. And it's just a great sequence. And I love Eddie Munson so much. He legitimately might be my 3rd favorite character on the show.
Yeah, I love that. I think he's fantastic. And I mean, obviously, Joseph Quinn has done some pretty phenomenal things since this too. Between one of the Quiet Place movies, Gladiator 2, and now Fantastic Four, and he's signed on for, being Johnny Storm in all future projects, and he's gonna be, I think he's even signed on for being in some Beatles biopics as George Harrison. Yeah. So, I mean, he's got a lot in the works, and that really all stems from
Stranger Things.
Performance in Stranger Things.
Didn't Cardi B want to DM him too? Or was that Megan Thee Stallion or something like that?
I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I mean, he was in some things before, bit parts here and there and stuff like that, but this is really where things kicked off, and it shows because he kills it. Phenomenal.
I think he is the MVP acting wise of this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Episode 3. Okay.
Fascinating politics with Dr. Sam at the beginning, with the fact that the U.S. government is infighting about that. Some people think that Elle is the problem and should be killed. And this is tying into a storyline that I never bought into even in the first watch, which is like, Elle is the monster. And they really try and hammer this idea that 11 is the one that killed all those kids when they do the flashback. And then she even herself is like, what if I am the monster? And Dr. Sam's like, I'm betting my life that you aren't. And it's like, come on, people. She's not in this season. She's not going to be the monster, but maybe in season 5 she'll turn. We'll see. But I liked the politics. I liked bringing in a little bit of real life. We see very little of what the U.S. government does outside of Hawkins directly. So to see it on Dr. Sam's front door with the military, I thought was cool.
Yeah, definitely. I had an issue with Murray and Joyce because did they really not come up with a cover story before the kids got home? They made this plan and had all day to figure it out. And then Joyce has the worst lying I've ever seen out of anybody ever.
And you have a 5-year-old.
A thing. Yeah. I've got a thing. That conference. A conference. Yes, a conference in Alaska. It's like,
it's stupid.
Sure. I do, unfortunately, Sam, I'm really sorry, but I do have to give Mike some props here.
Okay.
For how he talks to Elle. I know he's not the best, but he does have yet another moment where he's trying to connect to her, tries to understand her, and it works okay until his feelings come up and then he panics. Yeah. Overall, though, he does pretty well, and this is really the second time ever that we see this from him, of him actually being able to like really connect with Elle and communicate properly and kind of bring his viewpoint and her viewpoint together.
Yeah.
And so I do have to give him a little bit of a...
No, I totally agree.
Mike.
I totally agree. And I think it's a necessary scene to keep his character alive in any way, shape, or form. I think Murray, Sierra, I get that Joyce is trusting of Yuri, but Murray is way too trusting of Yuri as compared to
for sure.
what season 2 Murray, like Murray changes a ton over this show into whatever the show morphs him, needs him to be. Mm-hmm. And he's just such a great physical actor, and his voice is so dramatic that I get why they're utilizing those talents to make him this big, huge character, big energy-wise, right? But he's way too trusting of Yuri. Season 2 Murray could never.
No, never. Would never, could never.
Would never, could never. Never in a million years. Were you ever afraid that Lucas would actually join Jason's crew? Because to me, the Jason's crew line is a little weak in these 4 episodes.
No, I never thought that he'd actually wholeheartedly join in. You know, I think that there's a little bit of a fear of how far he'd go playing along.
Right.
But I think that that's where it ended for me is, you know, I think it's just, well, what if they actually do show up and they are all there? What is Lucas going to do then? At what point does he turn his back on? Who is he going to turn his back on?
Yeah.
But he escapes from them before any of that really happens. So I don't know. I feel like it falls a little bit flat because we just don't have that. And then, and I think that overall, just the Jason's crew plot it stays weak. Jason's not weak.
Jason's great.
But none of his lackeys, I mean, they start out with 8 basketball players or something like that. And by the time that we get to the lake, there's only 3 of them. Yeah. And then the one, dies. Yeah. And so then by the time that we get to really the impactful Jason stuff, there's Jason and a guy who tackles a small girl. There's just one other guy who tackles a small girl and then can barely hold on to her before she kicks him in the bajoobies. So it's
yeah, I like it as a runner storyline, right? It's not an A story, it's not a B story. But it is at moments, I just wish that it was more like Lucas felt stuck being there rather than playing with the audience in terms of Lucas might choose them because he wants to be popular, not a freak. And
no.
I just found, and so his big line at the end where he's like, normalcy is psychotic. And I'm like, cool, that feels like the Duffer Brothers having a theme that they're trying to teach. Yeah. And it's almost a little didactic in that moment because I never really believed that Lucas for a moment is like, I'm going to be with these guys even though they're killing people. Versus I do believe it at the beginning when he just wants to be on the basketball team.
Right.
All right, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Last thing about episode 3 before we get to episode 4. The realization that Max is in danger and is going to be killed is an all-time TV moment for me. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I remember specifically being like, what? Max? And then not even asking my wife if we can watch the next one, just hitting the next button. I had to watch more. Because like I said, Max in my first watch, and my second watch, and my third watch, my favorite character. Still tied for my favorite character with Dustin. My anxiety around, oh my gosh, we're going to lose Max was huge because I just like her so much.
Mm-hmm. And then episode 4, I got super chills when Max says, Chrissy's headaches started 7 days ago. Fred's 6 days ago. I've been having them for 5 days. Oh, I went, not this redheaded delight. My poor girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really well done delivery on that line reading as well.
Yeah.
From her. The Mike and Will conversation. about doing things together as a team of best friends is a beautiful callback to when Mike says that if they're ever going to go crazy, at least they'll go crazy together.
I like that. It's a nice callback.
I really like that kind of rounded moment.
Yeah.
And that, that full circle moment is very sweet. And I, even though Mike and Will are not quite in the same place of where they're coming from with their friendship and their relationship with each other,
yeah.
I think it's just a really nice moment that we don't get a ton of between the guys in these episodes.
Totally.
So it's nice.
Yeah. Sorry to keep bringing it back to Max. I've never been more stressed about a character surviving in a TV show ever. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, sure, the Mike and Will stuff. Absolutely. Give me Max. Where is my precious darling baby girl? I don't want her dead. It feels like a niece that I'm super protective over. But the sequence of Max being under Vecna's spell, Robin and Nancy being nearly arrested, with Dustin calling on the radio for info, and then putting music on Max's head, and Max running for it, is just like crazy good, and might be the best thing in season 4, period.
No, I think it is.
It's incredible.
Which is kind of a bummer that it happens halfway through season 4, but it is phenomenal. I think it is very, very, very well done.
The finale is really good for season 4, but I just, like, the stakes are so big. I don't know. Maybe season 4 might be, but we'll get to that when we get to that. The season 4 finale might beat it, but this is such a crazy good bit of television.
Yeah. And so is Hop's escape.
Yeah.
However, I'm watching this going, there's no way that he's doing all of this barefoot. Oh my God, he's doing all of this barefoot.
Yep.
Because I was watching it and I was going, he must have taken the guard's shoes before he runs through the snow, hops on a snowmobile, goes for quite some time, hops out, walks again through the snow, gets into a building. And then I go, no, oh, no. How does he not have frostbite on all of his toesies?
It's an absolutely, like, oversight by the show. He 100% should have frostbite for that long of a trip out in the cold. And when his feet are in snow and then on metal in exposed winter air in Siberian Russia, like, are you kidding? Absolutely. He should be amputating his feet.
He should have lost multiple toes.
Yeah. If not feet.
Yes. If not feet.
Because he's got an exposed wound too.
Oh yeah.
It should be.
Is it an exposed wound, or it was hit so hard that it like broke something on the inside?
I think I remember it being exposed. So his blood vessels, no matter what, should be freezing everywhere.
Sounds right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, a big welcome back to Billy, coming into the scene.
I honestly really enjoyed seeing him again.
It was amazing.
Just for a minute.
I hope he's back in all of season 5.
That would be fantastic.
He's so good. It was also, what a harrowing scene for Max and the viewers, where he's Billy, and then Vecna appears, and it's like, wow.
Ugh.
You know, I don't really love Vecna's design, but I love his the way in which he's scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
His whole terrifying existence. Yes.
All right, rapidly moving on with the rest of our categories, y'all. Thank you for bearing with us. There's so much happens in season 4 that our episodes are probably going to be a little longer than our previous ones. So into our last categories.
You know, you don't always have to face down a horde of angry soldiers by yourself. Buckle up, Schmisseners. It's our Sansa is smarter than John category for what is the most important character moment of these episodes. I think, what if I'm not good? What if I'm the monster?
Yeah, I think it's an important moment.
It's pretty important.
It is. It's really important. I like can't get behind it, mainly because her storyline is so unimportant that I kind of toss it aside. Like, that's an important moment for her to come to the realization that she might be a problem. We've been the audience had been lingering with questions about that since the end of season 1. But for me, for whole season reasons, the most important moment is Eddie running away, trying to wake Chrissy up and then bolting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know you just lost a hand, but listen up. It's the I am your father category for most iconic character moment. I think there's only one. It's Max.
Yep.
At the end of season 3, realizing she's next on Vecna's list and seeing the clock in Hawkins High.
Yes.
All right.
Concur.
Done.
That's it. Everybody sit down. It's time for our I Am Iron Man award, most iconic and most important scene category.
Yeah, there's only one again on this. It's the sequence of realizing Mac is under Vecna's spell with Steve coming up to the grave, realizing that she's under Vecna's spell, and then the Scooby-Doobies coming to her rescue. And then her saving herself by running up that hill / running on a plane.
Yes.
Like a flat plane.
Yes.
While running up that hill is playing, and she gets out.
Yes. 100%. Sorry, I would like to mention I'm very tickled by the Scooby-Doobies.
Thank you. I'm just so grateful. That's what I'll be calling them from here on out.
I was going to say it after the first time. I was going to say it after the first time you said it, and we just kept moving on.
Yeah.
But I have to mention it.
The Scooby-Doobies, it's a great nickname for them, is it not?
It's so good.
I love it.
So great.
Crack open an encyclopedia, as Elijah Wood once said, no. How could we have known category, where we discuss the most important information disseminated to the fandom in these 4 episodes.
Elle was created to be a long-range assassin.
Yeah. What?
Officially confirmed, wildly impactful, crazy.
It's
bonkers.
Insane. It's really insane.
4 seasons in, we are learning
why she was developed.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And once we get to the play, Sierra, you will see how that's not exactly accurate from only Brenner's standpoint. I know that the U.S. government thinks that that's what's going on, but it is interesting what Brenner is doing. So a little teaser there for y'all to tune into our season 5 prediction / play episode.
Yes. Keep your horses safe. It's the I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse category of best lines.
Before we start, Sierra, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yes.
Usually, I think you pick the better lines. And all of my lines, I think, are better this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
I love it. Okay. I'm so excited.
Okay, go for it. Your lines.
All right. I don't like this, Chrissy. From Eddie. The full line being, Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this, Chrissy. I mean, alone. Let's face it. We totally suck. Totally and utterly.
I do like
Steve and Robin. This one cracked me up just so much. It's okay. Steve will get him with his oar.
It's a great one.
By Dustin. I sense tension. It's the risotto, isn't it? Everyone hates the risotto. By Murray.
It's a really good line. I might take it back on that one. That one line might be on par with mine.
Which I actually 2 days ago saw a clip of this exact line again.
Amazing.
on some sort of social media. I don't remember what it was, but I saw it again. Steve saying, I could have taken you out with this lamp. So good. And then my last one is Enzo, 100-1.
Yeah. It's a great line
it's
delivery.
It's a good line.
It's a good line. And it's a great delivery.
And it comes back.
It's better delivery, though, than it is a line.
Fair enough. But I mean, that actor is just great, too.
He's the guy who plays Dimitri / Enzo is incredible. So I had Chrissy wake up as well, but I have the whole thing. Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this, Chrissy. Because it became a whole TikTok song during the pandemic-y time when this show was out. So I have that. My other 2 are great lines. First of all, it's Robin with a killer of a lore builder line here. She's telling Nancy as they're about to get arrested when Nancy's like, we're going to make a run for the car. She goes, I got to tell you, I have terrible coordination. It took me 6 months longer to learn to walk than all the other babies. Which, if you think about it, is so funny. It's not just it took me 6 months longer, on average. It's the last baby to have learned to walk. Then add 6 months, and that's when I learned. Anyways, and then I have a very serious line here, which I think is one of the best lines that Lucas has ever given. He says, "I don't need a letter," talking to Max about the letters that she'd written. "I don't want a letter. Just talk to me, to your friends. We're right here. I'm right here."
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
It's a great one. Anyways, some good lines in there. Dust off that card deck and get ready to shuffle. It's our Joker category for who is the MVP of this set of episodes. I have an honorable mention before you give me the winner and / pound for pound argument.
Yep.
Honorable mention to Steve. He has the timing right down in terms of being a good babysitter and then going to find Max right before she, because if he goes any second longer, she's probably dead. So pound for pound there definitely. For saving Max. And that leads to this whole confirmation that it's Victor and where Vecna might be, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Mm-hmm. I have a pound for pound on this one, which is Harmon. And if that name doesn't sound familiar, it's because it's mentioned one time. It is the cop guard
duo
Owens guy who's the one who is protecting the boys in the house, not the one who gets taken captive, but the other one.
So there's two. There's a black officer and there's a white officer. This is the white officer.
Yeah, this is the white officer. He takes out an unbelievable number of soldiers with a pistol. He saves Jonathan, Mike, and Will, getting them out of the house, into the car, and away. He gets shot and killed in the process, but he does a phenomenal amount of work in a very short amount of time. And he gives them the pen
that has the location of where Elle is.
Of Nina. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's an exceptionally good argument. It really actually might be the MVP. It's hard to give it's hard to give a pound for pound. Yeah. Mm-hmm. To Harmon versus all the other legitimate pound for pound arguments have been the AV
like a
club
big
teacher.
Character. Yeah.
He's a bigger character. He's in a couple more episodes, but it's so true.
He has a little bit more going on.
But I think the real winner is this other person that you have.
Okay. Robin.
Yeah.
For getting her and Nancy in to see Victor.
She comes in
with
clutch.
This impromptu, wild speech after Nancy's telling her to just sit there and be quiet and let me do the talking. And Robin just, in a moment of utter brilliance, comes up with this monologue of cinematic proportions to explain why they desperately need to visit this man. And they do, and they get the information, that nitty gritty that they need to know.
For real. I think it's gotta be Robin. And I know that it's hard because you could make this argument that Harmon saves those 3 boys and those 3 boys end up saving 11 and 11 is probably going to save the whole universe. At the same time, Robin is a bigger character who gets Nancy and her to figure out the Victor Creel stuff, which saves Max, which allows them to do more Victor Creel research and plan and really weaken Victor and allow time for Elle to get there before everything's been destroyed. And so I think I'm going with, I think we got to say Robin because I can't have our list of MVPs be Harmon. When we put up the MVP doc winner, when we do that social media blast after we're done, I get Harmon? No. I can have Mr. Scott. I can't have Harmon.
It all.
We'd have to put up a photo of the guy. And even then, we'd have to put up a link to the scene that he's in.
Exactly.
All right, good.
Clean your evil air. And get ready for our I was the turkey all along category for biggest takeaway viewers should leave with in preparation for season 5.
Okay, so Dustin goes over how 11 only opened the gate and that the Upside Down probably existed for millions of years, which is not a surprise necessarily, but it's nice to get it written for legal purposes in case we need to sue. No. Interestingly, the Upside Down in a couple episodes where one sort of originally gets there doesn't look like Hawkins at all. So a major question that I have for season 5 is this something that opening the gate does, or does Vecna do this?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, Vecna's attacks are inside your mind, first and foremost. He is not like L's physical telekinesis. He attacks your mind, takes everything in your head for himself, and then breaks your bones and bodies after that. But it's very much an inside your own head. Not to, like, quote the Cranberries, but in your head, in your head, zombies. Okay, we can't get sued. That's parody? Question mark. But speaking of music that activates different parts of your brains and exists on different signals in the physical world, can be a way to defeat or stall him. So we've both got what his attacks originate in, and also what types of things can mess with him, which is really good that we've got somebody like Dustin on the team who continues on with his AV knowledge and technology knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, Sierra, I have a public service announcement for today. Before creating a long-range telekinetic assassin out of a child, please check that said child cannot create interdimensional doors. This will avoid unnecessary cleanup like rotten pumpkins, slugs in your sink, and dead bodies strewn about your town.
Oh my goodness.
The 0 to 60 at the end of that sentence.
Yes. Rotten pumpkins, slugs, dead bodies. Oh man. Thank you, listener schmissners, for listening to this episode of Fandom Schmandom. If you'd like to discuss this episode or any other episode we've done, please hit us up on our social media channels. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Fandom Schmandom Pod and on X at Fandom_Schmandom.
Please don't forget to rate and review us if you liked the episode. It really helps the algorithm place us in front of other like-minded schmissners out there. And also, please subscribe wherever you get your podcast. That really helps with the algorithm as well. And with that, we're out, y'all.
Don't forget to tip your menacing clocks.
Fare thee well.
Fandom Schmandom was created by Sam Williams and Sierra Obermark. The show is produced by Aurelia Lieb. The editor is Brittany Fisher. The music is by Jeremiah Alves.
Somebody had this thing about watching K-pop Demon Hunters, about watching K-pop Demon Hunters with like his daughter and wife or whatever, and like how he was resisting it, and then he ended up watching it on his own, and then he was like all obsessed with it and is like singing along dramatically, and he turns around and his wife and daughter are behind him, and he just like Rumi's my bias, and then just walks out.
Amazing.
And so I commented on it because I thought it was hilarious, and I was like, Rumi's my bias, what an iconic walkout. And he commented back to me. I was very excited.
That's very exciting. The best person that has ever commented back to something that I've ever written was Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. That's pretty great.
It was great. I had a 2-sentence conversation with Mark Hamill.
Nobody can stop you.
Mark stopped me. Mark never replied to my reply. I gotta tell you, I couldn't stop myself early last week when a student was like, wait, so Star Wars doesn't take place like in our universe, but in the future? And I was like, in universe, yeah, but not in the future. It's in a galaxy a long time ago, far, far away. The kid was like, oh yeah. And everyone was just sort of like, you idiot. It's like the first thing that it says.
Oh my god. Oh, that's ridiculous. I was watching a show earlier and someone was like, I'm really, like fitness is really important and nutrition is really important to me and all this stuff. And, there's this guy and his kid has diabetes. And like, how can a kid like, be so unhealthy that they have diabetes. Da, da, da. The kid has type 1.
Type 1.
Diabetes.
Okay.
I was like, you're a moron.
Dear God.
Who allowed you to speak today? Can I talk to them? Your speaking privileges have been revoked.
As you address an envelope, God, heaven, I don't know your postcode. Dearest Father Almighty,
Dearest
why did you allow this
darlingest
man to speak
Momsy and
today?
Popsicle.
Nice. I feel like I know you just lost a hand is... Hampa jumpa loompas, lumpias go floompa. Shooda boopa ba, shoopa da doopa ba. Jumpapa, 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 jumpapa.
Make with the Oompa Pals.
Welcome to Fandom Schmandom, the Fandom Codcast.
Steven. I almost said Steven because I saw Jonathan right below it. Okay. Steven.
Steven. One way to kill millennials that graduated our exact year. Steven. They're resculin hoop. They're resculin hoop.
Rasculin. Nancy and Robin need to do more Victor Creel, so they pretend... Wait. Need to do more Victor Creel?
I don't know what that sentence was. My brain clearly fizzled out in the middle of it.
Not gonna bite you in the ass and arm and face and...
You want to re-say that line?
Yes.
It's not as bad as Benedict Cumberbatch's. Cumberbatch's.
Everybody knows who you're talking about.
It's not
Bandy Snitch. Cumblepot.
Bandy Snatch Cumblepot.